Okay, so welcome back everyone, and here in part 2 of our Canadian Spectrum discussion of religion, this very, very controversial topic. I really would like to commend all the courageous people who came today, and those who will continue to come. I find a lot of excuses for some people who maybe preferred not to show up in order to escape this very controversial discussion. It's a very, very controversial discussion. And today is going to get even more controversial. Today we're getting even more deeper. So some people are coming here today for the first time, so I just want to remind everybody, those who attended and people who are coming here for the first time, about our previous presentation. Last presentation was part 1 of religion. So I'll just go through the slideshow we did last time very, very quickly, remembering the basic points. So we talked about all the different kinds of religions around the world, Abrahamic and non-Abrahamic, but we concentrated more on the Abrahamic religions, mostly. And then we talked about percentages of religion around the world. Mostly Christians and Muslims are the 2 major religions in the world today. And then we have many, many other different kinds of belief systems. We talked about different kinds of belief. People who are Gnostic, who are sure of their belief. People who are agnostic, who are not very sure about their belief. Okay? And then we also have atheist people, people who do not believe at all in a God, and theist people, people who believe in a God. And we have many different varieties between all of them. We talked about the split that religion does to the world, how religion splits the world. And we talked about religion and racism, religion against science, religion like here, comparing 2 parts of the world, mostly Middle East and Europe, with the exception of Eastern Europe, specific part of Eastern Europe. Their differences across 1,000 years between 1018 and 2018. So it's exactly the opposite. Some people are too busy with religion, the others are doing science. Now it's the other way around. Does God love gay people? We discussed this. And again, what to eat, what to drink, the importance of eating and drinking, your diet, how much does this affect in faith and in separating people from one another. We talked about dress, again, dress code that might define people from specific backgrounds and might divide people or separate people. And religion, the very big thing everybody's talking about, is one of the major reasons of war. It is a major reason of war. And this is, of course, a cartoon about it. Then we talk to the other side. There's the other point of view that might say, no, religion is not the bad thing. Actually, God loves the sinner, but hates the sin. God does not hate people. God just hates the sin they do. This is another point of view. And then, I would rather stand with God and be judged by the world than stand with the world and be judged by God. Like, who do we really worship? Who is our real God? Is it people, or is it the Lord, whoever we believe in? Why do we care so much about what people say? Why do we follow people more than Scripture? The other view says darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. This is a saying by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the great leader in United States of America, somebody who fought against all kinds of racism. And he said, we should spread love. The role of religion should be the spreading of love, not hatred. We said that terrorism should not be combined or associated with any religion. It's an own belief. It's a belief on its own. Again, this is another point of view. And then we ended over there, and in general, we were talking in general. Today we're going to be very specific. So what is going to happen today? Today we're going to do something new. We're going to have a little 5 minutes break. Several people maybe, ask for something like this, and I think that's a very logical thing to ask for. So before the break, we'll be going through this presentation. And in this presentation, I'll be showing to you specific texts. So last time we talked in general. Now I'm going to use specific texts from the Quran and from the Bible, specifically. And as you see that, just try to think of it as a neutral reader. Look at it in a logical, scientific way. What message can you see through these terms? What messages can you see through these sayings? What is the surface message, okay? You might think there is another point of view. We will discuss this after the break. But now, let's just go through specific, points. So, one of the major problems in religious points of view is that there's always heaven and hell, and nothing in between. There's nothing in between. You either go to heaven or you go to hell. There's nothing that can be neutral. You cannot you're not going to heaven, and that should be the punishment. No. If you don't go to heaven, you go to hell. And of course, the difference between the two is beyond explanation. There's no way of explaining even the difference between the two. So the first couple of texts I want to share with you is the idea of the chosen ones. Very commonly, religion is considered to be very, very selective. So in all religion, there are the chosen ones. And let's look at some texts here. Okay, so this is from the Old Testament. In the Bible, this is targeted towards the sons of Israel. For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. Out of all the peoples on the face of the earth, the Lord has chosen you to be his treasured possession. Only you. Out of all the people of the earth. So I've chosen you only, out of everybody else, to be God's treasured possession. And who created those people? Who created those people? God, right? Who created the other people?
God.
So why should he choose some people he created and leave out other people he created too? We'll be open definitely to all kinds of questions and comments big time after the presentation. Absolutely. I know you'll have lots and lots of things to say. Now, this is from the New Testament. This is from the New Testament. This has been said by...
Choose the position to let us see the...
Okay, sure.
Because we
so I can stand here?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah?
Maybe,
okay.
yeah,
Okay, sure. So this has been said by Paul. Paul, the prophet Paul, a very important figure in the Christian faith. He is a man who was Saul of Tarsus. He saw Jesus Christ in a vision, and he turned from Saul of Tarsus into Paul, and he became one of the great preachers of Christianity, and he put the foundations for many of the pillars of the Christian belief. You are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, so that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who has called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light. Again, chosen race, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession. You and only you. Now, moving to the Quran. You are the best nation produced as an example for mankind. You enjoy what is right and forbid what is wrong and believe in Allah. You are the best nation produced as an example for mankind. You are the best nation. How about the others? So, best is what? Superlative. We have good, better, best. Superlative. Another very important thing that religion frequently talks about is submission to authority. You submit to authority. You give yourself to the leaders. And very frequently, religion was accused of supporting dictatorship. Let's look at texts here. This is from the Bible, from the New Testament. Everyone must submit himself to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. So this authority, if a man has authority over you, it is God that give him this authority. So if you fight this authority, you're fighting God's will. Okay? The authorities that exist have been established by God. So if somebody has authority or leadership over you, it has been chosen by God to give him this authority. Consequently, he who rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. So if you object to your leader, even if a tyrant, you're objecting to the will of God, and you will be judged by God. Moving to the Quran. O you who have believed, obey Allah and obey the Messenger and those in authority among you as well. So, obedience of Allah, obedience of His Messenger is combined along with those of authority. You have to submit to those in authority. People in authority tell you something, you have to say, yes, you should not disobey them. Now, women's rights, women's position. What is the women's position? Okay, so this is from the Bible. A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. Who's the cause of all evil? Women. Who submitted and who answered the devil in the Garden of Eden? It was Eve, the woman. And so Eve, the woman, is the second devil. The first devil is the serpent, the devil, and then the woman was the devil's advocate, the devil's supporter, who seduced the poor Adam, the poor male. Okay? So, therefore, the woman should be quiet and listen to the man. It's enough what she did to him. She destroyed him enough, so she should just listen and never take more authority. And again, wives, submit yourselves to your own husband as you do to the Lord. So, your Lord, there is a greater Lord in the heavens, but there's another Lord on earth, and this is your husband. You should submit to your husband like you submit to your Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body of which he is the Savior. Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Very clear message. Now moving to Islam. Men have authority over women because God has made the one superior to the other, and because they spend their wealth to maintain them. Good women are obedient. They guard their unseen parts because God has guarded them. As for those from whom you fear disobedience, admonish them and send them to beds apart and beat them. Then, if they obey you, take no further action against them. Surely God is high, supreme. Again, so women, be submissive to your men. This is the will of God. You should, the more you submit to your husband, the more good you are as a believer. If you disobey him, you disobey God, and he has the right, so your punishment is not coming only from God, it can come from your husband too. It can be verbal or it can be physical if needed. Now, homosexuality. What is the religion's point of view towards homosexual people? Lesbians and gays. Somebody like our previous Premier of Ontario, Kathleen Wynne. What is their position? Very successful Premier, did very good work for Ontario. What is her position according to religion? Where should her place be according to religion? So the very famous story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah is the very famous story that is always referred to in religion, in Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. City of Sodom and Gomorrah was a city where most people living there were homosexuals, or bisexuals even. So they just were so obsessed with sex, and they were so much obsessed again with homosexuality. So let's read here, and this is from the Bible. They called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them." Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, "No, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters who never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you like with them. But do not do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof." Actually, the story in both the Quran and the Bible says that these men were not really men, they were angels or messengers from God, who were disguised as men. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities and also the vegetation in the land. So the whole cities were brought to the ground, not only the human beings, but even the crops, the plants, everything. And this is from the Quran. Same story. Quranic version of the same story. "And when the envoys came to the family of Lot, he said, 'You are people unknown to me.' They said, 'We bring you what they have doubts about. We bring you the truth, and we are truthful. Travel with your family at the dead of the night and follow up behind them. And let none of you look back and proceed as commanded.' And we informed him of our decree. The last remnant of these will be uprooted by early morning." The last remnant, nothing will remain of them. They will be completely wiped out. "And the people of the town came joyfully. He said, 'These are my guests, do not embarrass me, and fear God, and do not disgrace me.' They said, 'Did we not forbid you from the strangers?' He said, 'These are my daughters, if you must.' By your life, they were blundering in their darkness, in their drunkenness. So the blast struck them at sunrise, and we turned it upside down and rained down upon them stones of baked clay." Same story, extreme, severe, final punishment, complete annihilation and wiping out of homosexual people off the face of earth. Now, the defiled, the unclean people, the defiled. Who are the defiled? The unclean people. So this is something in the New Testament. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out. So a woman from Canaan came to Jesus Christ and told him, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly." Jesus did not answer a word. So his disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us." She's a woman who's asking for help from Jesus Christ. And his helpers, the supporters of Christ, the very close people around him, tell her, look, send her away. She keeps, crying after us. And then Jesus answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel, not to you. The woman came and knelt before him. Lord, help me, she said. She knelt down on her knees and told him, Lord, help me. He replied, it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. And then the woman said, yes, it is, Lord, she said. Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. So the dogs can, if you have crumbs, little bits and pieces of bread, the dogs can eat them. So I'm a dog. I accept them a dog. But please help me as a dog. Consider me as a dog and help me as a dog. Then Jesus said to her, woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed at that moment, upon accepting the dog idea. Now, moving to the Quran. O you who have believed, indeed the polytheists are unclean. People who are polytheists are unclean. So let them not approach Al-Masjid al-Haram after this, their final year. So let them not approach the holy mosque. They should not, this is their final year. After this year, they should not come because they're unclean. And if you fear privation, Allah will enrich you from His bounty. He wills. Indeed, Allah is knowing and wise. So do not come close to the unclean people for any reason. Even for financial trades. If you need to trade with them, don't worry. Allah is going to give you wealth. You don't need to touch those unclean people ever. People are unlike you. They are unclean people. You shouldn't touch them. The others are unclean. Divine wrath. The anger of God. Divine wrath, the anger of God. Now, this is from the Bible, again, from the Old Testament. From the Old Testament, the top part. From the New Testament, the bottom part. The top part in the Old Testament says, the people of Samaria must bear the consequences of their guilt because they rebelled against their God. So people who rebelled against God, refuse the will of God, will pay dearly for this. How? They will be killed by an invading army. Their little ones dashed to death against the ground. Their pregnant women ripped open by swords. Kill the old people, kill the little children, and even if a woman is pregnant, cut her belly, kill the baby inside. This is the will of God. God wants that. Now, to the New Testament. This is a saying by Jesus Christ. Do not suppose that I've come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Moving to the Quran. So when you meet those who disbelieve, strike their necks until when you have inflicted slaughter upon them, slaughter, cutting, then secure their bonds, make them in strong bonds, and either confer favor afterwards or ransom them until the war lays down its burden. After that, you put them in bonds. If you want to release them, or you may have ransom for them. So I exchange my man for your man, or I exchange this man for something else until the war ends. And if Allah had willed, He could have taken vengeance upon them Himself, but He ordered armed struggle to test some of you by means of others. And those who are killed in the cause of Allah, never will He waste their deeds. So you might think then, God, if you don't like them, why are you not punishing them yourself? And He said, no, it is my will that you punish each other. I want you to punish each other for me. I chose that. I want you to do my punishment. And those who will die doing that for me, I will never waste their deeds. They will have a great reward after that. One way only. Okay, so if you want to be saved, want to go to heaven, not to hell, there is only one way to reach God. Can I reach God in any other way? No. Can I pray to God night and day and love God with all my heart, but in any other way? No. No. If you do it in any other way than the one way, it's not acceptable at all. So here in the Bible, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. So if you want eternal life, you must believe in the living Son of God. If you don't, you will not have that. This is the only thing. And Christ said, I'm the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So if you want to come to the Father, you have to come through me and only me. Through any other way, no matter how sincere you are, it's unacceptable. Now moving to the Quran. And whoever seeks a religion other than Islam, it will not be accepted of him. Whatever you do, it's not acceptable. If you're not a Muslim, whatever you do, it will not be accepted. It will not be accepted. And in the hereafter, he'll be one of the losers. And in the hereafter, in the afterlife, you will be a loser. No matter how good, like I'm a very good man, I'm a very kind man, doesn't matter. I pray every day and night, I love God, doesn't matter. So, going back to the same picture that we talked about last time, the same question remains. So, looking at the sections here, assuming that, okay, so if we take the biggest religion in the world today, which is Christianity, how many percent of people are Christian? 32.32%. 0.32%. Are they all united? Are they all one? Do they have all one belief? The answer is no. There are more than 300 different sects of Christianity, and there are many sects in Islam, many sects among Hindus, many sects among Buddhists, many sects amongst Jews. All different religions have many sects, and many of these sects actually think the others will not be saved. But just for the sake of argument, let's imagine that all Christians are the same. 33, let's say 30%, just to make figures easier. How about the other 70%? Where are they going? To hell. They're burning in hell. And for how long are they burning in hell? A year? A century? 1,000 years? Eternally. No way out. Just go in, no way out. Okay. Now, how true or untrue is it that such texts were used throughout the ages to crush, kill, and destroy millions of innocent people? Is this true or not true? Was this supported by the church and the mosque or no? Many people will say, no. Those people who did this had no connection with God. Maybe. But let's see this now. Pope John Paul II, the Pope of the Vatican. The biggest percentage of Christians among the world today are Catholics. Pope John Paul II, the highest authority, said the following. In the year 2000, he made a very great apology. And of course, you're most welcome to check any piece of information I have here in the presentation, to check how true or untrue it is. You're most welcome to do so. He said many apologies. During his long reign as Pope, he apologized to the Jews, Galileo, women, people convicted by the Inquisition, Muslims killed by the Crusaders, and almost everyone who he had alleged suffered at the hands of the Catholic Church over the years. He did not say over the hands of Europeans or Westerners or people who did not believe in God. No. Who was directly responsible for all the killing of millions of people who are Jewish, Muslims, scientists, women. It was the Catholic Church. Who's saying that? The head of the Catholic Church. One of the extremely most famous popes ever of the Catholic Church is Pope John Paul II. Moving to the other side. Indonesia, some people might not know that, is the biggest Muslim country. Indonesia is the biggest Muslim country ever. Again, these are the words of, most influential Islamic leader is Yahya Cholil Stakuf. He is General Secretary of the country's biggest Muslim organization. So these are the words of the leader of the biggest Muslim organization in the biggest Muslim country. He said, you can check these words again, see how true or untrue they are. So he says, there is a clear relationship between fundamentalism, terrorism, and the basic assumptions of Islamic orthodoxy. So long as we lack consensus regarding this matter, we cannot gain victory over fundamentalist violence within Islam. Within the classical tradition, the relationship between Muslims and non-Muslims is assumed to be one of segregation and enmity. These are the words of the greatest leader in the greatest Muslim country. Again, so the use of violence is very much supported by both classic views of Christianity and Islam. I'm not saying that. It is said by people who believe in both faiths. And they're not any two people. They're major leaders. These are two very courageous, extremely courageous major leaders who said that. So if you think that this man knows nothing about Islam, the other knows something about Christianity, then the question would be, then who knows? Now, the remaining question would be, where is the source of the problem really? Is it these books? Is it the text? Is it what is written in the texts? Really? Is this the problem? Is this the major source of the problem? Is it the texts? So, is it the book of the Christians, the Jews, the Muslims, the Hindus, the Buddhists, or the Zoroastrians? Is it really these books? Or is it these people? Or is it the men of religion? Where is the real problem? Where is the source of the problem really? Are these books really books that call for hatred, racism, terrorism, oppression of women, destruction of homosexuals? Or is it the way that those people interpret these books? This is our fundamental question. This is the question that hopefully we will try to answer together. And where do we get the perspective from? Where do we get the perspective from? So I know that many of you now have seen several of these texts will come and say, hey, but actually, this is not what he meant by it. There's another meaning to it. Okay, you think it's a 9, but why can't I see it as a 6? It is a 6 too. It is in the book there. So the question is, why is it left like this? Why is it left vague like that? Why is it left to interpretation? Why couldn't it have been more clear than that? Why leave words that might have two meanings? Why leave it this way? Why not have God in a big ocean? There are many, many more examples like the ones I gave you here. These are just some examples. You might say, but there's another meaning. And what prevents me from saying the first meaning? Where is the problem with it? Is it the book, or is it the men of religion, or is it you and I? Is it you and I, really? So, let's stop here for now. Let's go for a break. Let's all contemplate. Let's just think about a couple of options, and then we'll open discussion, limitless discussion. Okay. The whole idea is basically the idea of the chosen ones. You or none. It's only you, and the others are completely out of the picture. Completely. So we're talking about 70% of people living today. Forgetting about people who lived before, and people are coming after us. They are burning eternally in hell. So this side will have the biggest amount. This side will have the biggest amount. And is it a spiritual hell? No, it is a physical hell, a real hell, burning fire. It is a real burning fire, eternal burning fire. Some people might argue, no, it's not really fire. No, the text says that. You're more than welcome to argue, but try to give me a proof. No, the text clearly said it is burning fire. It is burning fire that will burn the flesh of non-believers eternally. And they're not dying. They will be alive, and they'll be burned again and 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 again. Their ultimate wish would be to die, but they will not die. They will pray to die, but they will not die. They will live eternally in hell continuously. Now, from all the different sides about the other, what are little children told about the other side? Are they
right? About wrong?
Absolutely. And are they just wrong, or?
No, it's diplomatic.
Yeah,
wrong.
diplomatic way to say they're wrong, but it's much more than that. The others are damned by God. The others are damned by God. And what kind of descriptions are given? Are they gentle descriptions?
Of course not.
Of course not. No. Extremely, extremely harsh descriptions given by both sides. But what do most people usually think? Do most people see that it is harsh from both sides? Or is it, we are the perfect, we're the clean, we're the good, and the others are the bad? With full honesty, what do most people see? Second approach, yes, exactly. We are good, we're clean, there's nothing with us, we're always the seekers of love and peace, blah, blah, blah. The others are evil. And the others, again, about the book of the others, you have one of two versions. No third one. Either the whole book is garbage and nonsense, the book of those people is nothing. It's was not even touched by God at all. It's 100% creation of a human being. 100% created by a big liar human being. This liar human being is the biggest symbol of the other religion, but it doesn't matter. He is a liar, and he has created this. Doesn't matter, because this is what our religion tells us. He's false, completely false. And the others should accept that and be smiling when we say that your biggest figure is a liar, and his book is nonsense created by him. That is fine. That should be fine. Should live with that. No problem. Now, or the other version is, this book is partially correct. So it is correct, but not all of it. There's been a lot of human, alteration that happened in the book. Yeah, a lot of human interference, exactly. A lot of people added, took away things, added things here, added things there. And of course they changed the word of God, and now because they changed the word of God, their whole belief is corrupt. And since their whole belief is corrupt, then again, they are not being saved. So both sides are very much open to the idea of human interference in the other person's book, but not in theirs. And here comes the logical question. What is the difference? Isn't this a book and this one is a book? Isn't this something transferred by humans and this is something transferred by humans? Do you have any videos or audios for Jesus Christ, for example, for Moses, for Muhammad? Do you have any videos of them? Any audios of them? Nothing. Do you have any even still pictures of them? Nothing. Do you have any pictures of the recording of these things? No. No. Are there historical evidences that Muslims and Christians alike truly believe in? I'm talking about knowledgeable Christians and knowledgeable Muslims, okay? I'm not talking about the general people. The general people might be shocked with what I might say. But all the knowledgeable Christians and Muslims know this very well. So, for example, in Christianity, the oldest Bible is the major one is which gospel? Which is the oldest gospel? Many of the Christians here know. What is the oldest gospel? So, a very common thing is the Gospel of Mark. It's referred to as the main gospel, main canonical gospel as well. So there are many other gospels, many other Bibles that were not accepted by the Council of Nicaea. So we had different councils, first, second, third, fourth, different councils of meeting that were 350, 380 years after Christ's death. They decided which Bibles are to be canonical, to be acceptable, official, and others were completely discarded. And these Bibles are in hundreds. And many of these Bibles say completely different stories, completely different beliefs. Even their view of Jesus Christ is completely different. Many of these Bibles view Jesus Christ just as a human being, as a messenger from God. He's not the living Son of God. He's not God. He's not divine at all. And these are many, many Bibles that say that. Now, these Bibles were not accepted, and people who accepted these Bibles were persecuted, were crushed, were killed. These are facts. You're welcome to argue, but with facts, please. Anyone who wants to argue with these, give me historical facts accepted by respectable people. These are the 4 canonical Gospels. If you don't accept them, your head is chopped off. That's it. That is final. There's no room for discussion. These are the rules. Before this, for 350 years, were the Christians agreeing upon which Bibles should be the true ones? No. Did the Christians agree upon the nature of Christ? No. Were there huge differences in the belief about the nature of Christ? Is he exactly one of the 3 natures of God? Is he the greatest creation of God? Or is he just a human? The answer is absolutely yes. Huge argument of the earliest Christians who were closer to Christ than those people who came later. Who was dominating the Council of Nicaea? It was the emperor, the Roman emperor. Not people of religion, no, the Roman emperor. This is it. I need to get my country connected together. We must connect things together. This is it. That's it. That's it. End of story. Now moving to the other side. Islam. Is it true or not true that the Quran was officially collected after the Prophet's death? True or not true? True. Thank you very much. Again, anybody who has different evidence, please, you're welcome to disagree with me. Is it true or untrue that there are several copies that were burnt?
Avenged?
No, burnt, set to fire. Yes or no? Yes. Why were they set to fire? Because they were exactly like the others, or were they different? They were different. So there were, historical evidence tells us that there were different versions of the Quran we hold today. There are different versions of the Bible we hold today. Okay. Again, in most of the Bibles around the world, with the exception of most of the Arabic Bibles, clearly for a political reason, with the exception of the Bibles printed in Lebanon, only Lebanon, in the Gospel of Mark, the leading Gospel, where all the Gospels were copied after him, the last part of the Gospel of Mark, which builds 99% of the Christian faith today, it says in clear writing, this part was added later on to the Bible. What does this part include? It includes Jesus' resurrection from the dead and talking to his disciples. This was not in the original Bible of Mark at all. Is this my idea? You can go ahead and check with world-renowned Christian theologians that will say what I'm saying is absolutely correct. So there is human interference. Again, let's go back to the Quran. In the Quran in the beginning, were there dots on the words or no?
No.
No. In Arabic, how important are dots? Very important. Correct? Very important. These dots were added much more later, or were they done during the time of the Prophet?
No, later.
Later. If I bring a Quran today, take away the dots, will it make any difference?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course, yes. Why not?
The meaning.
I can read it now without any notes.
You. Yeah, how many percent can do that? Tell me. Out of Muslim people.
If anyone now try to change one dot,
Mm-hmm.
99, next day they can, sorry, no one will accept it from the beginning.
And who told you it is this way or not that way? Okay,
Because so many
beautiful,
people
beautiful,
memorize it,
beautiful.
memorize it.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so you know the Quran appearance, you know the Quran, so I'll talk to you in Quranic terms again. Now, in the Quran, when people read the Quran, there are many different ways to read the Quran. Okay? So, very famous is what is called Hafsan an Asim, the way of reading the Quran. There's another way of reading the Quran, which is called Warshin an Nafa. Okay? Now, according to Warshin an Nafa, if you read it according to this way, which is widely acceptable by the Muslim people, many of the words will be different. Yes or no?
Difference in what way? In meaning?
Even the word itself will be different.
If you say that king of in the judgment day.
No, not this one only. No. No, that's the very simple one. No, there are major differences later on. There are major differences. If you go deeper into, and there are many, like here I'm talking only about Warshin an Nafa. There are many other schools, again, that are widely acceptable. There's over 7 acceptable kinds of readings of the Quran. Okay, the most famous is the Hafsan an Asim and Warshin an Nafa, but there are many other readings of the Quran. No, very different. Very different. Very different.
In the pronunciation.
No, but in the there's conflict in the meaning.
The meaning is different too. The meaning is different too. It's not only the way it's pronounced. The meaning is different. The meaning is different. The meaning is different.
May I have one?
جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتثبتوا
تبينوا.
تبينوا وتثبتوا.
Yeah, there's conflict in the meaning.
Absolutely, there is.
تبين تثبت.
There is.
تبين.
And why? No. Just give me a good reason. Why is it left this way? Why is it left accepting more than one meaning? Even if you think the meaning is near, why is it left this way? Why is it? Because if I go this, actually we can talk about this for 5-6 hours at least. I can give you trillions of examples. We can discuss this later, you and I, if you'd like. But I assure you, no, there are like endless examples that will make huge differences in the meanings of the Quran. So again, the center, the core of the Christian belief today, the center and the core of the Islamic belief today, according to scientific evidence, has huge question marks. Huge question marks. Amazing question marks. Amazing question marks. This is the truth. You might not like what I'm saying, but this is the truth, according to scientific researchers and theologians. And those people, by the way, are Christians and Muslims too, by the way, mind you. But they see it in a different way. Okay, because in some parts of the world, these things may not be discussed at all in a scientific manner. At all. You cannot ask questions. Shut up, you cannot ask questions. Impossible. Sometimes for political reasons. Sometimes for political reasons. I cannot say this part of the Bible was added later on because there is another religion that is with me in the same country. If they read this, whoa, there might be a big problem and people might convert. Okay? Hey, do not talk about the different readings of the Quran. Do not talk about them. Because the other people might think, oh, so the Quran can have many different meanings. So you guys say it has only one meaning, so people might convert. So because I just want to keep my people with me at any price, I will not share all the truth. And then I give you all the truth, I give you all the truth, and you choose whatever you want. Okay. Maybe there has been really human intervention that added or taken away parts from these texts. What do you think? Please.
It also exists in non-religious, in non. No. And the other.
Yeah, the non-Abrahamic, yes, non-Abrahamic. But actually, most of the destruction on the face of earth because of religious reasons was done by the Abrahamic religions. The others did not create such violence. So, how about the chosen ones? Please, everybody, what do you think is the source of it? Is it really the text? Is it the men of religion? Or is it human intervention? Maybe somebody added something or took away something. Think the men of religion?
Men of religion, they interpret it in this way, and then people believe in them. They are following them.
Okay.
Okay? And when people start to, everyone can interpret the verse.
So you think the men of religion are the source?
source.
Are the source?
Yeah.
Are the source? Okay. And I think you had a comment as well.
I want to ask about something. For the Jewish people, Jews, they believe that they are God's chosen people. Therefore, they see themselves better than others at all. Okay?
Yeah.
This is the common truth. The same thing, Christians, they say we are the sons of God. Therefore, they say themselves better than others at all.
Okay. Better than anyone else.
Finally, also for Muslim, they say we are the best nation that came to the people.
We will.
The best nation came to them. For this reason also, therefore, they think or they believe, they say themselves better than others at all. I have a big question. Is this, can we consider it discrimination or racism? For all of them, I want to ask you.
Yeah, so you think it's the text itself again. It's not only, so the text, why are we following this text? So you're not even caring about interpretation. Why do we have to why do we have to hold to these texts?
As I said, like, I don't know where those books are coming from. Do we have any camera? Like, who made this book? Okay, we only know that people transferred from someone to other, and it came to this world. But where is it coming from? Like, how we can believe those magical things? Why those magical things are not happening today? And I'm sorry, I really can't understand. If someone really have some evidence, please show me, explain me, because my mind can't accept those BS things.
So you opened a very important portal here, which is the importance of logic again. Just a very, very tiny example. Can you join us, please? Excuse me. Yeah. A very, very tiny example again. And this is just a very quick example. Like, for example, the story of Noah, that is widely acceptable by Muslims, Christians, and Jews. The flood of Noah. So according to the story, God saw that people are not good anymore, so he decides to flood the whole entire earth. The animals, the plants. The innocent animals, the innocent plants. Just take samples of them on the ark. And for how long did this flood last? How long does it take for a human to die after drowning in water? How long does it take? If you drown in water, for how long can you live underwater without oxygen?
3 to 5 minutes.
4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah, a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
How long was this flood?
3 days or more. I don't know.
Okay, so according to the Bible, for example, it lasted for 150 days. 150 days and then 7 more days. So 150 days, then Noah sent, first of all, he sent a raven. And the raven did not come back. Then he sent a dove. And then he sent a second dove. The second dove came with what? It came with just, a branch of olive tree. And then, so the logical question is, why all this period? And why drown the poor animals and plants? What is the logic behind that? If you want to introduce logic. Now, are there many other logical questions there? Absolutely there are. Absolutely.
Millions.
Yeah, there are endless logical questions. And who's asking these logical questions? The brain, right? And who made this brain? The God, supposedly. So, why can the brain that was created by God understand the word of the God that created it, if this word was for the people? And when people pray for God, Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, etc., 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 do they tell you that many of our prayers are answered? Yes or no? Sometimes yes, sometimes not, by both sides. Do Muslims and Christians and Jewish people can tell you we saw miracles with our own eyes? Yes. So whatever thing you say, but when I pray, prayer is the best time of day for me. When I pray, I have this feeling. But my friend, the others have exactly the same feeling, by the way. Exactly the same feeling. So again, why should you feel that you are better than the other? Why should you feel that you're the elite? What is the real purpose really? Is it really your care about God, or is it your feeling of being better than others? What drives you more? Is it your feeling that you want to be the saved one? I'm the saved one. I'm in the private club. Yes, please.
Percentage of poverty and rich. 80% of the people of the world are living in poverty and 20% in rich.
True. Yeah.
80% living in, let's say, unhealthy conditions and 20%. Okay. Again, why we should take the headache of who's going to heaven and who's going to hell? What? It's not our responsibility. It's not our property to decide this person going there or coming or going to heaven. It's not our responsibility at all.
But
At least try to survive by yourself. This is if you find the way to God and you feel that way is driving you to the right way, I think this is your right way. That's all. Now, your brother, I'm not talking about your neighbor, your brother from the same mother, the physical brother, is going to heaven or to hell. It's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
But how about the books? Do the books tell us this?
No.
No.
Books? I don't know about any book telling you that this person is going to hell and otherwise.
Seriously?
No. Can you
Seriously?
No, just a second. Can you give me guarantee that any of Muslim will go to hell or going to heaven?
No, there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee.
Give me guarantee.
Yeah. In the oath, we have 10 people.
Sorry?
Yeah,
10 people.
yeah. So there are like.
No, that example, that's just example. But now, for ourselves, who's guaranteed that to? Now, if I passed away, I'm going straight away. I have green card. I'm going. They are waiting for me there.
Stories about,
No one has
There is no guarantee.
No
in the
guarantee.
Muslim-
Not for yourself. Not for your brother.
Just a second, please. Just a second. Just a second. Oh, beautiful. This is an amazing analysis you're giving, but in reality, it doesn't exist 1% at all.
Because we don't believe in that way.
yeah,
If
yeah.
All of us.
Okay, I'm talking about real life here. Okay, do we have or we don't have, for example, what does the word saint mean? A saint. No, saint is what? Someone with no sin. Someone with no sin. Okay.
There is.
Yes, there is. According to belief, yes, there is. There are many. There are many saints. And you should believe in them, and you should even fast like they fasted, and you should follow them. They are saints, and you can pray to God through them.
nowadays,
Nowadays, absolutely, of course. No, you don't know. Actually, you just don't know.
because in our books,
Okay,
they
okay.
said everybody.
Just a second. Just a second. Okay, let's take them one by one. In Christianity, are there saints or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Is there fasting of the saints? Yes or no? Fasting, stopping from eating.
Yes.
Yes, there is fasting of the saints. There is fasting of the saints.
Also, the saints have their sin, but they have fight and try to be good. But
Okay,
anyone in earth have some sin, but he try be good. Nobody without sin, but try be good. So
Nobody without sin except for the living Son of God.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, again, and if you don't believe in this living Son of God, there is no afterlife for you. You will be burnt in hell eternally. Yes or no? Yes.
I will tell you that this is how I can judge another it will be go to the hell or go to the heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I am not God.
Yeah, will saints go to, will saints go to heaven? No, just a second, please. Will saints go to heaven?
Sorry?
Will saints go to heaven? Yes or no? According to majority of Christians, yes or no?
Yes.
For sure. Okay, how about the 10 people who had guarantee to go to heaven by the prophet? Will they go to heaven? Yes or no? Pardon me?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You are talking about Abu Bakr, Umar, Umar, these.
10 people, yes. They're guaranteed, they have guarantee, full guarantee during their lifetime that they're going to heaven.
Yeah, but you know what Umar said? That if my right step inside, still I'm worried that the left one still will not get.
Do you have a recording of him saying that?
Now, if we want to go to house for everything.
And we don't have a recording that they send people out of. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But do people believe that?
Yeah,
They believe that.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, when the prophet, was the prophet supported more by the people of Mecca or Medina? People of Medina, like he was persecuted, he was hurt by the people of Mecca, but he was supported by the people of Medina, right? Those 10 people who go to heaven, where do they come from? Are they all from Mecca, all from Medina, or a mix? They're all from Mecca.
Yes.
All of them are Meccan. Every single one of them. Isn't this racism again? Very strange. So the place where the prophet died and preferred to die was in Medina, not in Mecca. But all the people who are guaranteed to go to heaven are from Mecca. So like you said again, do we have any real proof that he really said these are the 10 people? But try to argue that. Of course, not possible. You cannot argue that. So where do we get this information from? from humans, right? From people.
Yeah, but back to my point. At the judgment day, each person will stand by himself, alone, without anyone else around him. And you'll be asked individually, without anyone around him. So it's your responsibility, it's your answer. So
Beautiful, yeah.
it's not.
So, can I ask everybody, please, hello? Can I ask everybody to participate, please? Everybody to participate. Because this is a group of speakers, not listeners only, please. So I ask every single person to participate.